And a few were caught up to India too. And it so happened we were lucky to have as a chief minister Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, who was a visionary and had his own ideas on what we should do as a country. And he was also, I believe, a member of the ruling government, NDA, under Mr. Bajpai. Anyway, and so there was a lot of discussion, and he invited Bill Gates to Hyderabad, who came, and he started using PowerPoint, and I was kind of amazed because I came into Hyderabad at that time, 97 and 98, and he was very proudly using PowerPoint. From what I know, he did not create it. It was created by Sudan, his special secretary for IT. But anyway, he was using PowerPoint to explain things. And there was also, at the same time, a number of IT companies were started, like TCS was already there since the middle, and Infosys and so on. All of them, Devang Mehta, who was the, who created this NASCOM and became the first president, was kind of in Hyderabad, and together in this cauldron of activity in India, they came up with the idea we need to kind of create an institution which can train high quality professional in the information technology. And out of that came the idea of a IIIT, Information Institute of Information Technology, and an original society that to host IIIT was created by a society registered by Sri Sirirazu and Devang Mehta, who is no longer with us, and Ram Mainam, three of them were the co-signers of the society at that time. And so this was all done, I believe, at the instigation of the chief minister, because they wanted to start a IIIT. They didn't know how to do it and what to do. And we were very fortunate at that time to have two visionary IAS officers, Mr. R. Chandrasekhar and Mr. Ajay Sahani, both of whom were not only knowledgeable in information technology and computers and so on, but were actually providing significant conceptual and visionary leadership in the AP government. So Mr. Chandrababu Naidu asked them to say, you create this institution and get it started. And they basically said, if we created it like every other university, it will never amount to anything. So they wanted to make it completely autonomous with no, any kind of no links or no control from any bureaucratic machinery in the government, which turns out to be the big problem for most of the other IIITs and other institutions that have been started. They have some umbilical cord to the government who still can control what they do. So it is not true that the government did not provide support. It turns out the land that IIIT is on is about 65 acres or so, and the buildings, original buildings that are still there, were all built for the High Court of Andhra Pradesh, who did not want to use it, did not want to move far away from the center of Hyderabad into in the boondocks. And so that was given on a rental or lease of 1 rupee per year. And that turns out to be a non-trivial amount, of support from the government. And all of this came about because Mr. Chandrasekhar and Mr. Sahani were able to kind of conceive of a way of doing things legally within the government without giving cash or without giving anything to IIIT. At the same time, I got a call from Mr. Chandrababu. I was in the USA, and said, "We are starting this institution. We want you to be the president." I said, "Absolutely not. I can't be the president of the thing because I'm already fully employed and doing other things." This was the time I was the dean of the School of Computer Science at Carnegie Mellon, and also on the President's Information Technology Advisory Board, playing a key role. Later on, I became a co-chairman of the thing. So, and basically, so I agreed to become the chairman of this founding institution, and I helped to convince Narendra Ahuja, who was a friend of mine at the University of Illinois, to come and take a leave of absence for a couple of years, 2-3 years, to help to get it started. We had to wait for MHRD to kind of give the permission to become a deemed university. And so they wouldn't. They said they adopted the name IIIT, and they started a number of other institutions, IIT Allahabad, IIIT Allahabad, and so on. Then suddenly they declared, IIIT is our name, you can't use it. And it turned out it was trademarked and copyrighted by IIIT Hyderabad, but that doesn't matter. It didn't matter because they were in power. Mr. Murali Manohar Joshi, was the minister for MHRD, and he said, "Nothing doing. You have to change your name." And secondly, of course, because Mr. Chandrababu Naidu was part of the government, he was able to twist the arms of the chief minister, the prime minister, and the minister for MHRD but they said, "You must change the name." So fortunately, inspired, we kind of changed it to international. That meant we had to keep the IIIT name intact. And so that's the history of how we became an international institute of information technology.